Welcome to this tutorial on building a game with Java AWT. My name is your name, and in this video, we will create a simple yet exciting game called Catch the Falling Objects. Before we dive into coding, let's take a moment to understand what AWT is. AWT stands for Abstract Window Toolkit, and it's a set of APIs provided by Java for building graphical user interface (GUI) applications. We will leverage this to create our game environment. In this game, objects will fall from the top of the screen, and your objective is to catch them using a movable paddle at the bottom of the screen. Let's get started by setting up our Java project structure. Create a new directory for your game project, and inside it, create a file named catchthefallingobjects.java. Now, let's write the basic structure of the game application. Open catchthefallingobjects.java and add the following code. Here, we imported the necessary AWT and Swing packages. We created a class called catchTheFallingObjects that extends JPanel and implements Action Listener. This will allow us to use Swing components and handle action events. Next, we declare our game variables. We have a list to hold falling objects, and we define the paddle dimensions and game speed. We also initialize the JPanel, timer, and the paddle's starting position. Let's now implement the GenerateFallingObjects method to create new falling objects at random positions. Add this method inside the class. In this method, we create a random number generator to set the x-coordinate of our falling object, and we set its y-coordinate to 0 since it starts from the top. Now, we will also implement the logic to update the positions of falling objects in our game. Here, we loop through each falling object and increase its y-coordinate to simulate falling. By checking a random value periodically within our actionPerformed method, we can generate new falling objects at random intervals. Now, let's implement the rendering of our game components. We need to override the paintComponent method to draw the paddle and the falling objects. Add the following code. This code sets the paddle color and its position at the bottom of the panel. We also change the color of falling objects to red and draw them at their respective coordinates. Next, we will handle user input to move the paddle left and right. We can implement key listeners for this purpose. Add the following lines to your class constructor. In this code, we listen for left and right arrow key presses to move the paddle. We also ensure that the paddle does not go beyond the edges of the game window. Now, let's implement a collision detection mechanism so that when the paddle catches a falling object, we can remove that object and keep track of the player's score. First, we need to add a score variable at the beginning of our class. Next, let's modify our actionPerformed method to check if any falling object has been caught by the paddle. Update the method with this code. This code iterates through the falling objects and checks if any object's y-coordinate has reached the bottom of the panel and the object's x-coordinate is within the paddle's range. When caught, we increment the score and remove the object from the list. Finally, we want to display the current score on the game screen. Let's do this by updating the paintComponent method to render the score at the top left of the panel. Putting this all together, here is the complete code for our game. With this code, you have a complete game where objects fall from the top and you can catch them with a paddle. Now why not try to extend this game? You can add sound effects, more complex collision detection, or even different object types. I hope you enjoyed building this game with Java AWT. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more programming tutorials. Thank you for watching.